Hey gang, in this video what I'd like to do is just show you my own blog, and as I've said to you or indicated before, I don't consider my blog to be the best model for what you want to do. For one thing, I started blogging before I knew what the hell I was doing, and I just did it to learn about it. So I didn't do everything quite the way that it should be done. And going back to the point that when I started, I didn't even know what my blog would be about, which is why I just sort of did a little play on passing time. I just figured it would be something to fool around with. But beyond that, I mean, I do have, as you see, here's the title, and there's a bit of an explanation. I also figured I would be using it to promote my own work as an academic, and it is an academic oriented blog, not exclusively, but that's what I am. So in all of these things, I don't think it's a model of blogging for you, but it can serve to give you some ideas and also show you what a long-standing blog, some of the elements of a blog that's been going on for a while. But first of all, let me show you here. I'm changing the size of the window, and as you see, the line breaks change along with it. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is first of all not to worry too much about where the line breaks are, because you can't control that. It depends on the size of the viewer's browser window. It's going to keep changing size. Here you see, I mean, I'm stretching it out. At a certain point, when I make it thin enough, all the material on the side disappears, because just like it does in the mobile version, because what counts are the blog posts. The things, the gadgets, the widgets that we put on the side are of secondary importance, although of course they're the permanent stuff, and they're presumably things that we want people coming to our blog online to see. I'll deal with the material on the side in a little bit later, but first let me focus. I just recently put up a new post, and here you see the first thing that we encounter is the most recent post, and as we scroll down, we get to an earlier post. So I went from, well, I've been a little busy lately, so I haven't been able to update the blog as often as I'd like. So this one is Sunday, January 29th. The previous one was Tuesday, January 24th. And then here's one, Tuesday, January 10th. And you see, we do try to think about layout and making it look attractive and interesting. And we'll get into some of those questions as the semester goes on. Then here's Monday, January 9th. So I've been haven't been posting as regularly as I'd like recently. Then Thursday, January 5th, Wednesday, January 4th, and here you see an example of just extended text in an essay, Sunday, January 1st, going down here, and then we hit bottom. Home just takes us to the introductory page, the first page. That is, in other words, right where we started just before. As I scrolled back down again, and by the way, this is the way blogs are set up, and there's they typically don't have a kind of reverse button where you can reverse the order of all of the posts and start with the oldest post, the first post, and then go from there in chronological order. And if you think about it, this is something unique and idiosyncratic about blogs. That is, that it goes in reverse chronological order, in the sense that you start with the most recent and you work your way backwards if you read the blog in the primary, kind of the main order that it's set up. You know, if you think about it, I mean, blog is short for web log, and a log book or diary, you would open it up, you'd see the earliest entry, and then as you went worked your way through from left to right, going through it, you'd go from earliest to most recent. In this sense, we kind of go through it backwards. Depending on how you set up your preferences, you can set up a certain number of blog posts or a certain number of days for each page, and then when you hit the bottom of the page, click on older posts, and that takes you to the next page is the second most recent set of posts. So this one begins with Friday, December 30th, and Thursday, December 29th, Wednesday, December 28th, then Thursday, December 22nd. So you see we're going backwards in time in this way. Here's another rather long one. Wednesday, December 21st, December 18th, and so on backwards. And here's a post just mentioning where I was a guest blogger on another blog, which is the blog for the Hannah Arendt Center, an organizations blog. And from there we get again to older posts, which would take us back yet another page, and we can keep going back in this way, back page by page by page to the very beginning of the blog, which, depending on how long it's been going on, could be quite a ways backwards. So this is, in a sense, it's the main order in which a blog is set up, but it's not the only way that a blog can be accessed. And here we see, for example, you can click on the title of each blog post, and then each blog post has its own individual page, that it exists as a page on its own. And then I get to the bottom of the page, and now if I click home, I'll get to that, again, that first page where however many blog posts there are that I had set it up to be. But each blog post then has a page or consists of a page in its own right. And so another way that people look at your blog or look at blogs is on the basis of an individual page. And if you a link or through a search engine can take you to the blog in general, or it can take you to a specific post in the blog. So say if somebody were to do a search for McLuhan studies, for this term, they would at a certain point see a link or see a search result for this particular entry, this particular post, as opposed to for my blog in general. Let me now, so those are two ways now that we can look at and access a blog. Let me now take you down to the permanent material on the right. And they recommend put up a picture, put up a profile picture, so I did. There's one picture of me right from the beginning, and here are some of these kind of social media stuff again. This one is, it was a widget or gadget for that, which I put in there, and for what it's worth. Followed by email was another one of their gadgets that they suggested. And I try to put in as many possible ways for people to follow or get a hold of it. So here's one for subscribing. Here, we're not going to get into it. I don't recommend it right now, but you can become. There are different ways to monetize the blog, and I did set up an Amazon Associates account. So actually, if anyone orders in this way off of my blog, then I would get like a couple of pennies from that. That's where this also support this blog through your Amazon purchases. I put in there. There, that looks a little better. Which I actually did this. I had this at one time. Then I took it out. Nobody was really actually using it, and I didn't. I felt it was a little bit too commercial. But then I actually had some people tell me that they'd like to do it. That they'd like to have an Amazon thing search thing on my blog, so that they could in fact have me get a cut. So it was actually at the request of other people that I put it in there.